A couple of days ago, the Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu did an interview with the Pokopia developers. Two things stood out to me the most. So, Cloud Islands, you probably know about that already, it's essentially a second island, but what I'm excited about the most is that we're getting variable town music. It changes with how big your town is and how much you have restored it. Also, we get confirmation for other destroyed towns that we can restore. Also, did you know that Pokopia has allegedly in-game purchases? Stay until the end of the video if you would like to know why that won't be an issue and why that's most likely not microtransactions. Recently, the Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu made an interview with some of the lead developers over at Koei Tecmo, Team Omega. Edagawa Takuto, the game's director, Ayano Marina, the art director, and Shigeru Ohmori, who was joined by Kanako Murata from the Pokémon company. The interview is really insightful and interesting, but I don't want to really drag the video out too long, so I will be focusing on what I thought were the important takeaways. Also, take my translations with a grain of salt, my Japanese is only at the N3 level. That's roughly B1 in European standards. In the beginning of the article, we understand that the person behind the main concept of the Pokopia game was Shigeru Ohmori all along. For a quick introduction to who he is, Ohmori has been the primary director of Pokémon video game titles since Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in 2014. He says that shortly after wrapping up development on Scarlet and Violet, he and two other people made a video showcasing their vision and a prototype, and then after, they pitched the game to the Pokémon company. The three devs already knew how they wanted the game to look like, and that Ditto was going to be the protagonist of this slow-life sandbox-style video game. Ohmori also talks about how he always wanted to create a game where the player places tall grass for Pokémon to spawn in. He says that this idea came to him when he was working on Ruby and Sapphire back in 2001, when he first joined Gamefeak. He wanted players to experience the same feeling he had when he placed these spawn locations in a way, i.e. the tall grass. Ohmori also talks about how he created the outline for the story. You meet Bulbasaur first because gaining the ability to create tall grass is essential for this game. The team of three already knew what they wanted the basic gameplay loop to be from the prototype stages of the game. Furthermore, the video I mentioned that Ohmori and the others made was also the one used to pitch the game to Koei Tecmo. And adding on top of that, it turns out that we have already seen that video as well. It is this short little cutscene where Ditto transforms into their former trainer. The developers also talked about how much text and unique dialogue they added. They mention having difficulties with translating and localizing the game in other languages. Now, the main part of the video and the part that I'm excited to talk about the most, the audio section of the interview. Ayano Marina, the art director, states that within Koei Tecmo, art and sound go hand by hand, especially in the beginning of a production. Both departments landed on a chill and pop vibe for the game. She says that they combine slow-paced, peaceful chill elements with cutesy, friendshipy pop elements. Edagawa, the game's director, adds to this by saying that he personally really loves the music. He mentions that the music reflects your progress on restoring the ruined, abandoned city. The music brings you closer and closer to an original Pokémon OST the more progress you make. Edagawa also said that the game's background music has two themes to it, those being creating and restoration. The musical themes around creating are concentrated around Ditto and are original to the game. The themes focused on restoration will feature legacy Pokémon leitmotifs and melodies. At first, the Omega Force team at Koei Tecmo wanted to focus only on the nostalgic restoration themes. But after they had a talk with Gamefeak, it was decided that original to Pokopia OST tracks will be present as well alongside the legacy remixed ones. Ohmori adds to this by saying that a leitmotif, or more like a short phrase reminding the players of the Pokémon Center theme, can be heard if you listen closely and carefully enough while restoring. I actually found it, here, let me play it for you. By the way, variable music is one of my favorite things in video games. When I was in film school, they actually taught us how it works. It's more or less a lot of music tracks placed on top of one another that play or mute elements with the right trigger. I love the variable music in Ring Fit Adventure so much. I cannot wait to experience the soundtrack of Pokopia. After all of this, the conversation shifts towards the Cloud Islands. Every person can have their own Cloud Island and can invite up to 4 players at a time. The host doesn't even have to be online in order for you to play within that world. We even got the origins of the name Pokopia, or just in the Japanese case, Poco a Pokémon. It's derived from the Spanish phrase poco a poco, or little by little. Ohmori also liked how the phrase sounded. He said that the phrase aligns perfectly with the gameplay of placing blocks one by one. In one of the recent Japanese TV adverts though, the pale Pikachu says Poco a doko.
Poco a doko?
Translated, that means where is Poco? My theory is that the developers expanded even more on the title of the game and named Ditto and Pikachu's original trainer Poco. The game's story will take around 20 to 40 hours, and we also got confirmation here of other ruined towns that we have to restore. Ayano Marina says that she herself spent around 15 hours only on the first town alone, and thinks that how much time it's gonna take to finish the game's story is based solely on a person-to-person basis. All in all, from what I can understand, we have 2 different worlds to play in. Our personal story mode world/island has a section where you and your friends can build together on a so-called blank town. The blank town map seems to be quite big as well. They mention that game share can be only used in these blank towns though. Mouse mode seems also to be present in the game, but I don't really like mouse mode, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. Aside from the interview, we also got a confirmation for fossils or ancient artifacts. We received some new images of Pokemon interacting with furniture, and there's also news for the Legend ZA soundtrack coming out in Japan within discs, I guess. I didn't know where to say this, so I'm just adding this info dump into the video. As I promised in the beginning, I am going to also share with you why you shouldn't worry about Pokopia allegedly having in-game purchases. So as it turns out, that's an early telltale sign for Nintendo to hint towards DLC. The real issue is that the execs over at Koei Tecmo decided to put no game in the cartridge and still charge $80 / for a box and a license key to use the software. Truly disappointing. But overall, I'm really excited for the game. Okay, so I didn't go over every single detail, but I tried to squeeze out as much info as possible without making the video 1 hour long. If you enjoyed what you just watched, you will most definitely enjoy my video on why Pokopia won't burn you out the same way Animal Crossing has. And with that, それではまたね. Bye bye!